Hello and welcome to the Korean Beauty Show podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Lee, the founder of Style Story and the founder of Korean beauty brand Gelato. So for today's episode, I have a wrap-up of everything that is new, trending, and the need to know in the industry, starting off with a very interesting trend forecast. So this was actually released by Hwahae, which is one of the local Korean, I guess it's actually an app. It's technically an app where you can go and check a lot of the reviews for trending products and things like that. But what they've actually done is put together a series of reports on the industry, on what is trending, and this is actually their own trend forecast. And considering we're in 2023, you think it might be standard practice to release a forecast for the next year, like 2024, but this one is actually for 2025. So I'm not sure why they feel the need to look ahead to 2025 when we're halfway through 2023. But ignoring that, I thought it would be good to take a look at it just because it is a little bit interesting. So what they thought what they think rather that we will be seeing in 2025 is microbiome skincare, a lot more of that, cellular skincare, and then also they expect that the clean beauty trend will continue into 2025. So microbiome, we've already spoken about that plenty of times on the show. It's obviously trending at the moment, and it is a growing category of products that are really aiming to tap into this trend for prebiotics, probiotics, postbiotics, things that are targeting the microbiome of your skin. So obviously there's a lot of different bacteria and things like that that are naturally growing on the skin surface, and to try and keep a healthy range of different bacteria growing so that we don't upset the skin's barrier and whatnot. They predict that that is definitely going to increase by 2025. Now, in relation to their predicted trend of cellular ingredients, I think what they're really getting at there is with the anti-aging products, they are looking at various different things that will target skin cells. So how the cells respond to things like aging, oxidization, environmental damage. So more broadly, I guess, an anti-aging trend, but maybe we will see some more of those really standout ingredients coming through, like we have seen this year as well, with more and more releases around peptides and collagen, retinol, bakuchiol, things like that. They obviously are anti-aging ingredients, but, you know, really back to the super-powered ingredients that have always been around in skincare, but I think there is a lot more of a focus on them at the moment. So I'm assuming they think that that's going to continue through into 2025 with maybe some slightly different focuses. Now, clean beauty, that is not going away anytime soon. On social media, the response to clean beauty in Korea has shown a steady growth. So when it comes to skincare, around 37%, makeup 26%, and hair care at 13% in terms of the kind of products that people are looking for and, you know, what they're actually responding to with the new launches. When it comes to sustainability, this is a trend that we are seeing globally in the global beauty industry, not just Korean beauty. But interestingly, Hwahae thinks that rather than the current focus, which tends to be on, you know, paraben-free, making claims around eco-friendly ingredients, they think that by 2025, the focus is going to be more on things like waterless products. So, you know, powder washes, powder cleansers are one example of that. Biotech, so I'm assuming that they're talking about, you know, newer research into sustainability, as well as things like coral reef protection. So that is their analysis of the market as it currently is and where they think it is heading in the next, I don't know, year and a half, I suppose. They did release some interesting statistics around keyword searches for veganism, vegan beauty on their app. and that has increased by 2,600% in the last 2 years. I know we've spoken about that plenty of times on the show, the fact that vegan makeup, skincare, whatnot, is really, really trending in Korea at the moment. And not only amongst vegans, amongst people that are looking to do their part, I suppose, for the environment, looking for a more sustainable approach to beauty. And veganism has kind of been caught up among that in the K-beauty sphere in Korea. So that is not in and of itself surprising, but I think that what that probably means is that this isn't going to go away anytime soon either, because the other people that are looking at all of these trend forecasts, in addition to people like me that are sort of analysing the industry more broadly, is of course the brands. So a lot of brands will be wanting to jump onto whatever the trends are showing. K-beauty is very, very trend-based and always has been. The market here responds very quickly to consumer demand, and they're able to put out new products that respond to what people are searching for, the kinds of things that they are prioritizing. For example, waterless skincare. If that's a priority, then brands will be jumping on that. If veganism is something that people are searching for, they're going to be giving more vegan products to consumers. It is happening at a really fast pace here too, in a way that you just don't necessarily see in other countries for a whole host of different reasons. One of Korea's strengths in this sector is the fact that it is a manufacturing hub. So Korea is one of the few developed countries that still has a really robust manufacturing sector in a lot of different industries, and that is just not something that you see in other development countries, for example, Australia, at the same rate, because we pay our staff too much. You know, it's too expensive to be manufacturing things when you have a really, really high minimum wage and all of those kind of things. You know, it's obviously very layered. There are lots of different reasons for it. But it struck me the other day. So my uncle was actually in town a couple of weeks back for a conference. So he's an engineer, and there was an engineering conference being held by one of the big universities here in Korea, and he was attending that, as a professor to deliver 2 papers, I think. And that's what he was saying, talking to people and just having a look around in the Korean countryside and whatnot. He realized how much manufacturing still goes on here in so many different industries. And, was contrasting it to Australia, where we have lost a lot of our manufacturing sectors, and things that used to be done in-house in Australia is just not done there. And I know that this is a thing that is repeated in a lot of other countries as well. And one of the main reasons is that the minimum wage is so high in Australia. I think it's almost around 30 AUD, Australian dollars, in a lot of different industries. Hospitality and things like that, it's definitely up in the 20s, even, retail and things like that. Now, to put it in perspective, the minimum wage in Korea is around 10,000 won, which I think is less than $10 an hour. So for a lot of industries, it's still feasible, it's still doable to have things actually made here in Korea, whereas in a lot of other countries, by the time you factor in the costs of paying the people that would be working in the factories or working to make the products, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So that is one of the reasons why Korea is able to jump on trends a lot better and a lot quicker than other countries can, than other industries can. It's just because it's all sort of available here for them to do that. And that has been a really key feature of the industry in Korea as well, with all of the different Korean beauty trends. So I thought that was interesting. I thought I would share that with you. That is Hwahae's hot take on the 2025 trend forecast. But I think all of that sounds eminently reasonable to me. That all sounds very much like where everything will be headed. So none of those really surprise me. If we end up seeing all of them in 2025, I'd be like, okay, yep, sure. But just in case that is interesting to anyone else, I thought I would share that. Now, before I jump into the rest of the news headlines, I should mention, this is breaking news, you heard it here probably first, is that Style Story is having a warehouse moving sale. So we are moving out of our current warehouse in Sydney in a couple of weeks' time. So we want to try and get rid of everything that is left in the warehouse to minimize the amount of stuff that we are moving with. So we are basically pricing everything that's still in our warehouse to clear. So go and check out stylestory.com.au if you are looking to pick up a bargain. We are actually moving back to Brisbane, which is where it all started for us. So we're moving out of New South Wales. We are moving back to Queensland, to Brisbane, and we will be fulfilling all of our domestic Australian orders there from basically towards the end of August. Going forward. So that is the plan. That is why we need to move out of our current warehouse, which we are doing. And I know we've had a couple of people sort of reach out with Jellico related things from the US. So what I wanted to just flag to everyone, because I know so many of our listeners have really been interested in the brand and supporting the brand. We've got lots of customers as well. We actually do our own fulfillment for Jellico from our jellico.com platform now. So we have our own website, jellico.com. That's co with a K-O for Korea. And if you are based in the US, it is a lot cheaper and a lot quicker if you buy your Jellico products through our US-based website, or rather US-based warehouse. So when you make an order on jellico.com and you are in the States, we just fulfill it from our California warehouse. We've actually got 3 warehouses around the world that are fulfilling those Jellico orders. If you order in Australia, it will go from our Australian warehouse. If you order from the States, it will go from America. And if you order from anywhere else, it will go from Korea. So just to let everyone know, we've got far lower shipping rates. Shipping is a lot cheaper from there just because we've got more fulfillment options, basically. So it's cheaper for us, so we pass that on to you. So if you are shopping just for Jellico products, you want anything Jellico, go and do that on jellico.com. It will definitely work out to be better for you with shipping. That will work out much quicker and it will be cheaper for you as well. So I just thought I would let you guys know that as a little PSA, just in case. Now, another piece of news that you may be interested to hear, because I was certainly surprised to see this, is that Beauty of Joseon sales are expected to hit $200 million this year, which is quite crazy. So I came across this article in the local Korean news, basically drawing attention to brands that are not popular domestically but are doing really well overseas. And they mentioned a couple of different brands. Manyo Factory was one of them. Beauty of Joseon is another one. And what they were saying is that this brand has achieved really rapid sales growth targeting the US market. So what they have done is in 2020, they were only doing 100 million won in sales, which I think is more like $10 million in sales. But then they generated 40 billion won, which is around $40 million in sales last year, and are expected to reach 200 billion won, roughly $200 million in sales this year. So that is crazy, really, that kind of growth just since 2020. And they are planning to hit Europe as well. They have teamed up with one of the local companies here that actually invests in a lot of different Korean beauty brands. It seems that they've teamed up with them and they are expanding into Europe. So that is some crazy growth in not a very long amount of time, in quite a quick amount of time. The product that got the mention at the moment in this article was the Clear Rice sunscreen. That is the one that is gaining popularity, with accumulated sales exceeding 5 million overseas, including the United States. So some pretty crazy figures there from Beauty of Joseon. So, you know, for all of those people out there that are saying, oh, well, you know, they're not even popular in Korea, I think, who cares? If you're doing $200 million in sales, you probably don't really really care where you're popular. I mean, suffice to say, I think they're doing well enough to keep going at that point. So there you go. That actually did make the local news headlines here. Now, one other update that I had for you was in relation to, on our last news update, I mentioned that there was a new sunscreen ingredient being greenlit for approval in Korea. And I actually had someone reach out and say, yeah, by the way, that one is the trade name for that is Maroxyl 400, and it's actually a L'Oreal patented UV filter. So what that basically means is, yes, it is a new ingredient. It's new to Korea, but it's only going to be available in the L'Oreal products because they've got the patent for it. So I did a little bit more digging on this Maroxyl 400, and I think the product that we are most likely to see that in, therefore, is the La Roche-Posay one. There's one called UV Immune 400, I believe, and that is the one that they're using that in. Basically, L'Oreal and BASF spent over 10 years developing this ingredient. So what normally happens is when companies have a patent for a product like this, the patent lasts, so many years, 10 years, 20 years. I believe that 20 years is pretty standard for UV filters. So while we will see this in sunscreens in Korea, it's only going to be for their own products. It's not going to be available for other brands. So I thought I would just update you guys with that one because, yeah, that was new information to me. I had not realized that it was going under a different trade name. So there you go. Now, the last piece of news was a really nice one for us, and that was that our Jellico Gelato Glaze Lip Mask hit the press in the US. It was covered by Trend Hunter, and they basically do a wrap-up of all of the latest trends and what's trending across different beauty industries. So apparently our Gelato Glaze Lip Mask hits 3 different trends that they have identified. One is the dessert-inspired beauty products, which obviously definitely gelato is a dessert. All natural skincare ingredients using things like oils and waxes, and then plumping and nourishing lip care. So there you go. Apparently we're quite on trend for this release. They gave us a rating out of 10. I think it was 8.2. So there you go. That was a little bit fun to see. So that was bringing up our headlines up to date for this fortnight. We also had an interesting question come through to Style Story from one of our customers, and she said, I need help choosing products. My face has redness, and my assumption is that it is rosacea. What would you recommend? So obviously no one from our team sort of went back and said, are you sure it's rosacea or anything like that? But if you are suspecting rosacea, my advice would also be to just mention that then to your healthcare provider next time you're going to see them. Just because if it is rosacea and it is left unchecked or untreated, it can actually worsen, and there are different phases, or rather different types of rosacea. And, if it is left untreated, then it can increase in severity over time. So I just thought I would flag that with our general listeners, just in case you are operating under a similar, assumption that you also have rosacea. Just flag that next time you're in front of someone and just sort of say, look, this is, maybe take some pictures. I always do that. I basically, anytime I have anything to check, I start a little folder on my phone in my photos and just name it something else. And then I've got all of the record of exactly the date, the symptoms, what it looked like for the doctor or dermatologist right there so that you can check it with them. I just thought I would mention that. When it comes to Korean beauty products for rosacea, there are quite a few different options out there, even though rosacea is not as common among Asians. It does exist. It's not as common. It most commonly afflicts Caucasian women starting from their 30s, and it is often, I guess, a precursor that you may have had acne. So if you're someone that had, severe acne in your younger years and you are now sort of in your 30s with very light coloured skin, then that is sort of like the typical textbook case for rosacea. But that's not to say that other people can't get it. They obviously can and do. So some products that we have that are a really good fit for this kind of skin type, our double cleansing duo. That is a really, really good option to gently remove your SPF and makeup. I'll have a link to that below. Another product that I really enjoy using when my rosacea is flaring is the Estura Atto Barrier 365 Cream Mist. So Estura is a brand owned by Amore Pacific, and they have this cream mist that is similar-ish, I think, to the Laneige cream skin products, and that's because they're both owned by the same parent company. So Estura's products are sort of similar, but I would say in general, Laneige is probably a better brand for people with more normal to dehydrated and dry skin types, whereas Estura is really for people with disordered skin. So people that do have a lot of sensitivity, a lot of damage, maybe something like rosacea. So Estura's product is a good one that you can use in place of toner. And the nice thing about that product is that you don't actually need to pat it in. It will absorb properly even if you don't pat it in, which can be a really good option if your skin is ultra sensitive. In terms of a nice hydrating ampoule to just make your skin feel more comfortable, the Tosowoong Aqua Ampoule, the hyaluronic acid aqua ampoule, is quite a nice product. And what I love about all of Tosowoong's ampoules is that they are huge. They're 100 mils. So you don't need to be throwing them out every month or 2 months. You can actually get some decent use out of it. Now, for your cream, the only thing to mind in Korean beauty is that a lot of the time, a lot of moisturizers will have essential oils in them. And it's usually best to avoid those if you do have a flare-up. Illiyoon's Ceramide Atto Concentrate Cream is a good option. It's not the most hydrating. I sometimes see people recommending it for dry skin. And I don't think it is the most hydrating product on the market, but it is a good rosacea-friendly option. So I will have links to all of those. It's best to stick to the basics. Don't be adding a whole lot of different things into it. And for your sunscreen, I would recommend to stick with a mineral one, not a chemical one. That is the general wisdom when it comes to sunscreen for very sensitive or reactive skin. They tend to work better with the mineral sunscreens rather than chemical ones. So a few tips, hopefully some of those will help some of our listeners as well. And that brings me on to our new Korean beauty products. And what I do actually have for you is not necessarily a new one, but an upgrade. So we've recently had a restock of the Illiyoon Ultra Repair Cream, but the Ultra Repair Cream is now called Ultra Repair Intensive Care Cream. And if you were familiar with this product, you will notice that the packaging has also changed. It used to be in like kind of a fat little tube, and now the tube is sort of skinnier and narrower. But, you know, for all intents and purposes, it is a similar product. It is a good one for people whose skin feels itchy or tight. If you do have red, sensitive skin with a weak barrier, this is the formula for you. Illiyoon is just a really good basic line of products. It's sold at supermarkets in Korea. So just very cheap and cheerful, nothing fancy. They're very basic formulas. Illiyoon is owned by Amore Pacific as well. So, you know what you're getting. You're getting good quality products, but they are very, very basic. I would put them on par with maybe a CeraVe, I think. That's who I would recommend them for people that like those products. Now, we've also had our own customers provide some new feedback on a range of different Korean beauty products. So I thought I might as well share those with you as well, just because these are paying customers. They paid to buy the product, and this is what they actually think about them. So I think that is often a lot more useful, and you get a much wider range of opinions than just me telling you about the product. That's why I actually like to share this, because you know that these people are paid for it. They're not influencers that have been incentivized in any way to provide their reviews. They've bought the product and this is just what they thought of it. So without any further ado, I have 3 for you. The first is for D'Alba's White Truffle First Spray Serum. And this was a 5-star review, and our customer said, I totally get the hype around this product. It just feels so nice on the skin and is super hydrating. I find myself using it more than is probably necessary, but I'm kind of addicted. I love that, because I feel like I could have written that myself. I'm like, I'm probably overusing it, but like, who cares? If you like it, you like it. So very happy to hear that. The second one was for our double cleansing duo, that I had mentioned before. And this was a 5-star review from one of our customers who said, so smooth. I just love these products. They do a great job of taking the day off and leave my skin silky smooth, but not tight or dry feeling. So, I mean, that's exactly what you want after cleansing. So I'm very happy to hear that. The last review we had was also a 5-star review. This one was for Tosowoong's hyaluronic acid ampoule, and our customer said, love it. This is lovely and great value. I put it on straight from the shower while my skin is still damp as a first layer in my routine. It absorbs quickly and easily. So thank you very much to everyone that did share their reviews and also how they're using the products. Particularly with things like hyaluronic acid, you will often hear the common wisdom is to apply it to damp skin. So this is one way that you can do it. Wash your face and then put it on after like that. And that is just a great product for layering in general, that Tosowoong one. That's a product that I think I've got 2 of them in my bathroom at the moment. I thoroughly enjoy that. So to finish it up for this week, I am sharing my recommendation of the week. And this is one, I know we have quite a few listeners that enjoy the Korean romantic reality shows, which is, trying to pair people up, find love, all of those kind. And one of the reasons that a lot of people enjoy this genre of program is because how it's done in Korea is usually quite different from how it's done in the West. So if you've seen shows like, I'm thinking Love Island, X on the Beach, any of those ones where people are quite out there, I guess, in terms of getting what they want, and they, put it all on the line, and people tend to hook up really quickly. You'll notice if you watch Korean dating shows, particularly the reality star ones, that it's very, very different and a lot more restrained. So this is one of those shows, and it's called Heart Signal. It's in the 3rd season, and basically it puts them all together. It puts 8 singles together in what they call the Signal House. And the idea is pretty simple. Basically, you've got to try and find a fellow contestant to pair up with, but you're not allowed to tell them overtly that you like them. So you basically need to flirt with them in real life, but then at the end of the day, send like an anonymous text message to someone that you've had a connection with to let them know how you feel. But you're not allowed to be like, hey, it's me, blah, really enjoyed our day together. It's got to be more subtle than that. So what generally tends to happen is some girls or guys end up getting multiple messages, and then some people get none, and then like antics ensue. So this is one of those shows. It's a very Korean in style. If you want to learn a little bit more about Korean culture and see how people actually do interact with each other, I think that this is a good one. You get a far better sense of like real life in Korea and true Korean society watching shows like this compared to like dramas. Dramas are obviously just completely over the top, not very realistic a lot of the time, So this one I would recommend if you are into that. It's very different from the Singles Inferno, this one, but yeah, it's interesting. It should be on Netflix. If it's not, hopefully you can find a version of this that has been, subtitled for you on an app somewhere, a subscription app somewhere. But I know that some of our listeners really do enjoy this genre of shows. So if that's you, Heart Signal 3, take a look and let me know what you think. I'm always interested to hear, what people think of the Korean TV shows, just because, having lived in Korea now for as long as I have, it's not as different to me, I guess, maybe as it was when I didn't live in Korea. So it's all kind of like, oh yeah, that'll make sense. Whereas I know when some people watch things really different, they have a really different take on it, or something really different strikes them. So you'll have to come and find me and let me know if you do watch a lot of Korean TV, and if you are more of a drama lover, or you do enjoy this style of program, this reality style of program. But Heart Signal 3, go and check that out if you haven't already. All right, I am going to finish off here today, and I will be back in your ears next week. And until then, I will see you on Style Story.